halfway tempted to take a little break from streaming, watch fucking Roizoga shit, and then just come back once he's done. That's halfway tempting. I do want to take a little break to eat. I'll probably play some Threads of Fate today, honestly. Game turned 17 today. Almost old enough to fuck. I want a game with a really, really nutty system. A Street Fighter game with a really, really nutty system. Remember Cross Assaults in the beta of Cross Tekken? It was like every time you go to neutral, you swap characters. So you can do things with a character and then like go to neutral and then do things with the other character and then go to neutral and keep on doing that over and over and put together like huge combos like that. And then right before the release, it was like, oh yeah, we just made it so like the other characters are calm. That's so weird at all, having like calm controls. But I feel like a combo system like that would have just been completely off the wall ridiculous with a huge skill ceiling. And that's what I want. I want a game with a combo system that's off the wall ridiculous with a huge skill ceiling. But also well thought enough that you can't just break it like, you know, immediately. Excel is a fairly good example of what I'm talking about. CBS 3 might be like that. Depends on how they do it. I'm like continually surprised that CBS 3 keeps on not happening. How on earth is Geese in Tekken but CBS 3 isn't already being made? Isn't that kind of weird to anyone else? Like, I guess they're not against, like, you know, crossover stuff. We know for a fact that Capcom's not against crossover stuff. Can we just have, like, you know, that other crossover game that everyone wants? I wish Capcom was more okay to make, I wish they were more okay to just use hotfixing. You know what I mean? I wish they just made, like, a game with, you know, very questionable balance. Or not questionable balance. I don't want them to shoot for bad balance. I want them to, like make a system that could potentially have really horrible balance. And just be okay with it. Because they haven't done that in a while. The balance of Street Fighter 4 was very safe. The balance of Street Fighter 5 was very safe. The balance of MVCI looks like it's going to be very safe. It's not the balance I want to be bad, it's just like the potential. The balance is usually bad in any game where the potential for bad balance is high, and I want them to make a game where the potential for bad balance is high. I want a game with unexplored depths. Like MVC2 was. Like CBS2 was. Where we don't really know where it's gonna go. I can be fairly certain when I pick, like, Colleen. Or even Ed. That those characters are going to be approximately balanced. You might make that argument that Ed kind of sucks. You also might even make that argument that Colleen kind of sucks. Maybe. Maybe. And yet I feel fairly safe playing those characters, knowing that they won't be like, you know... I want a game where it's like, whatever shit I can find might actually fully break the game. Like, there wasn't that much chance that Colleen was going to break the game. And there also wasn't that much chance that she was going to be unviable. You know what I mean? Don't know what I mean. The thing is, like, I understand. I don't want them to be able to finely tune it. The thing is, they've made every combo in Street Fighter 4 and 5 something that they can just like look at. You know what I mean? Like they understand the complete depth of the combo engine. Omega Mode is still not quite what I'm talking about. As long as you can understand the depth of it, like it's not what I'm talking about. I want the Capcom devs to be able to see like a player doing something they didn't even fucking think of. The balance right now is too sterile. That was cool. Omega Mode is just a different Street Fighter 5. It's not real. I mean, Street Fighter 4. It's not really any more or less sterile. It is about the same degree of sterile. It's maybe slightly more sterile. It's got the wackiness in different places. Like one of Street Fighter 4's wackiness is its safety, that you can do kind of invincible things and then make them safe, which isn't really possible in Omega. But then you have some footsie wackiness in Omega. Or you can have some damage wackiness in Omega. Like most supers in Omega mode do like 400 damage. That's a lot. In some places it's just more like, fair. And some it's less. Most people's like belief that Omega is a really, really like pants on head retarded game comes from the fact that they don't know much about it. And they just see new stuff and they're like, oh shit, you can do this new stuff. This game must have like really, really stupid balance. It might, I don't know. There's definitely some stuff that wouldn't fly in Street Fighter 4, like against like ultra characters. But then they lose other stuff as well that makes it more fair. Like they have like no Oki and whatnot. They have no momentum. Omega characters for the most part have no like poorer movement and no momentum. I shouldn't say poorer movement. They've got stiffer movement. It's like as good, but it's different. I love how that ends with him point blank. I love how he can turn any combo into that infinite combo. Shore's Wrath is a shit game. I thought it was cool. Oh no. I get that it was one giant QuickTime event, but it was fun. Sick combo. It was a series of QuickTime events, and figuring out each QuickTime event was cool. It wasn't that much more QuickTimey than a Musou at times. I think that new characters is the way that they should go, and I think it was very brave of them to do a new character only season 2. And I keep on seeing people complain about that, and I'm just like, no, fuck. That was like a good decision. That's what's going to end up giving Street Fighter 5 personality somewhere down the line, is the characters it introduced. That's going to be what, like, fucking, that's going to... Creating these new characters is the first step to having, like, these loved characters. I guarantee there will be a waifu fag for Colleen. I guarantee there are already a bunch. I guarantee there will be a very dedicated Ed player somewhere out there. I guarantee there is at least one person, probably a bunch of people, where every Capcom game where there's Rashid, they will play Rashid. My day was pretty bad, but it's good now. I drove my mom to the hospital twice. because she was getting surgery. And now I'm on call to help her anytime she needs help. I think Colleen is probably my favorite Street Fighter character in a long fucking time. I think Ed is okay. I don't dislike Ed, but I think he needs more. I think they need to either give him another special move or just modify how his special moves work so that there's more you can do with them. Nikali is a little bit lazy, but he's alright. He's more just like unused Evil Root concepts just fleshed out into a full character. Rashid is great. Love this combo. Same Pierce. Laura's just fine. Laura's got a fun gameplay style and an okay design. It's a very safe design. I know it's like a fucking hot woman, and also she's you know, related to an established character. It's like that can't really be that bad, no matter what. Laura's got a cool gameplay style though. The level 3. I didn't even know you could juggle that there. That's pretty good damage. The only complaint I have about Laura's design is that it's too safe like that. Yeah, I mean, Nikali's really cool design-wise. I think Fong is amazing, and I think the only reason Fong isn't more interesting for most people is that he's, like, his tier has been a question. Fong has a completely unique gameplay style and a really cool design. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with Laura. She is a little bit forgettable. She doesn't really feel like a new character. She doesn't feel fresh. Nikali looks fresh but doesn't feel fresh. Laura feels fresh but doesn't look fresh. Fong and Rashid both look and feel fresh. I think if Fong's like tier was never a question, he would be like, you know, people would be ambivalent to positive about his design in general. I will probably not stream MVCI. I'll probably pick it up. I probably will get it at some point or another. Damn, because he parried that. Did he have to burn a bar there? Made her more Brazilian. I understand why they didn't do Fire and Ice Power. She's not even supposed to have those. I don't even think it was ever established at any point that she had ice powers. They'll need to overhaul Gil if they ever add him. Obviously from a balance perspective, but like also from like a attack perspective, he's not very interesting. He's just got like Urian's moves but on motions. So they need to do something else. He needs to have like unique moves. Yeah, Abigail can like pound the ground or something. He can have a tantrum. It's cool. Whoa, look at that. 499 sub. 13 months in a row. Try that emote that I just put on. It's Bath Choke. At first I was like, I didn't know how to... I liked Abigail's stupidity of his design. And the more I look at him, the more like... The more I watch Abigail, the more, every time I see him, the more I like him, basically. I grew in love with his silliness really quickly. Like, I'm well into loving him territory. At first I was like, I don't know how to feel. I like how risky it is, dude. I really like how risky his design is. It's very silly. It's a very silly design. I'm glad not only that they are willing to, like, make new characters, but they're willing to make new stupid characters. I thought they were done. I thought that every character who was going to be designed from now on was either going to be like a Colleen if they were a girl or an Ed if they were a boy, if you know what I mean. I thought we were done with the era of, like, Hakan's. He definitely looks ugly. I like that Capcom, like, that they're willing to take like a risk with that kind of design. I think it was the wrong time to do it. I think they were like, playing with fire with a bunch of people who like want to hate them. They probably shouldn't have done that. But like the fact that they did makes me happy, to be 100% honest. No, I'm one of those guys who like I look at this. I'm one of those guys who really liked New Birdie, for example. I feel like Birdie's old design had no personality. I feel like making him fat added a lot. I think that Abigail's old design didn't have much personality, and his new personality has a shit, or his new design has a shit ton. I think he would have been very Hugo-like if they didn't do something completely retarded with him, which they did. That should chip, right? Cheap. I feel like Street Fighter 1 Birdie had absolutely no personality at all. I feel like Alpha had a decent amount, and I feel like Street Fighter 5 has the most. I didn't mean to imply that, like, he didn't have it. He kind of did, but now he's got a lot. I like new Nash too. Old Nash didn't really have a whole lot of like Nash. Old Nash had a good design, and it was minimalist in a cool way. But like new Nash takes the good and just keeps it. It's still good. They just expanded further in the same direction. He was an edgy shitlord, but now he has a good reason to be an edgy shitlord. Do you know what I mean? Retsu's actually one of the most important characters in the lore of the game, and yet he's only been in one game. Retsu is one of two people who taught Ryu and Ken how to fight. I love this combo. This combo's tight as fuck. Oh, he dropped it. Nanase actually has a really cool 2-bar combo. Interesting. Trying to. Whenever I see someone else recommend Aura, I'm just like, no, I'm the one who's supposed to say that. Aura's my boy. Akuma did not train Ryu and Ken. It was Goken and Retsu. That's like basically all we know about Retsu. Is that he was one of Ryu and Ken's teachers. Oh, Gotetsu? He's he was he's an entire tier up. Retsu's probably still alive out there. Dan trained Sakura. Sakura literally learned how to fight from watching Ryu, although she was already quote athletic. Um, and she wanted more learning from Dan, and then it was like, oh, I love that combo so much. Um, Dan taught her shitty stuff, and she like learned it, and then thought it was shitty, and then unlearned it. But I think they've decanonized that. I think it was just in an ending. It's like she learned from Dan, and then she realized everything Dan was teaching was shitty, so she unlearned it. Now that's just like now that never happened. Now it's just like she's trying to learn from Dan a little bit, but more importantly, she thinks Dan knows Ryu, so she's trying to fucking get Dan to introduce her to Ryu. Introduce is probably the wrong word since I think they know each other now. Dan would be an excellent character to add. I think they can do... Dan is sufficiently different from Ryu and Ken already that they don't really need to do a whole lot to him. And they can have a lot of fun with his systems and the design of the game. And also no one will really care if he sucks. And it will be extremely funny if he's okay. They can generally have a lot of fun with Dan's designs. They need more parody characters. I think every character in Street Fighter should be a reference to other fighting games. Literally all of them. Honestly, is actually one of my favorite characters in this game. I think if they put in Dan, I think if they ever want to like repair everyone's opinion of them as a company, if they ever just had an unannounced update where they put Dan into the game, it would literally like make everyone shit themselves. If Capcom wanted to have like fucking, if they wanted to get into everyone's good books in 1 second, and they just had, if they just snuck Dan into the game, that would do it. And it was just free. It's like, hey guys, here's Dan. And then it literally would not matter if he was a good character or not. No one would complain. They'd love him if he was fair. They'd love him if he was weak. No, they have to not announce it. They have to just put him in and then make it free. No warning. Why is Nanase so cool, dude? I really like Nanase's combos. I like her special moves, too. That would take more man hours than they would feel comfortable doing. I know. It would never happen. It's just a pipe dream. Just April 1st, dude. Just put Dan in the game. And everyone's like, wait, is this just an April Fool's gag? And then surprise, motherfucker. Oh my god, these combos are cool as fuck. Yes, can you get it? Can you get it? Oh, it fell through. You get 2 bounces on that, and it actually loops. You can do a bunch of them. So who's Zeku supposed to be again? Like, someone refresh me. Someone, like, give me the quick rundown. I forgot he was even, like, a part of the leak. But not supposed to be, like, the fortune teller. Guy's old master, that's right. Dan, wait. Guy's teacher. So are we gonna get some A, Final Fight characters, and B, references to Guy and Maki? Supposedly Viper is season 3, yeah. I think I'd like some minor balance changes, to be honest. Evo just happened. I want every company to like just change up their game a little bit. Street Fighter 5, I think it's like I think people have a general consensus on who they want changed and how they want them changed. I'm still seeing a decent number of people say Ryu, despite the buffs. Ed, I see a lot. I see a lot of uh Fong still. I don't know. I think there's still people who think Fong sucks. Um, Alex and maybe I feel like there's one more. Peter's another character that could. I love this combo. He's getting it. This combo's tight. Yes. All right. I like don't. I like that Ed has no motions, but if there is a single character who like needs a motion, Ed needs quarter circle forward punch for his hands, or he needs like hands more easily. I don't even think Ed's like hands are hard to do. I can do low forward hands with like decent success, and I'm not even good at hands. I just feel like the danger of hands is so fucking high when you've got another special move that's hit two punches at the same time. That's like massively unsafe on block. I just don't want that. Just give me some alternate way to do a fucking hands motion like you did with every other hands character. I don't care what it is. It can be DP. It can be reverse DP. It can be fucking some entirely new motion. It can be quarter circle down. I don't give a fuck. Just give me some variety of hands. I think one of the biggest problems Ed faces as a character is that a lot of his optimal enders don't work in very specific scenarios. Or like a lot of his optimal enders only have specific scenarios where they work. And if you don't have access to the optimal enders, you have to do hands as an ender. And a lot of times people will do like one of the optimal enders and it'll fall out, and it's like, you know, if you did hands here, it would have worked. Oh. Peter is a lot more reasonable to add during a joke update than Dan is. Down that punch would be okay. I would be perfectly fine with that motion in that place. Abigail's theme is really good. Peter is right now just a joke character. I think they need to give him something to ascend him to lethal joke character status. They need to put like a fuck ton of stun on one of his moves. Or something like that. Needs to have like 1,000 stun, stand hard kick. I'm okay with Ed having something abusable. He's already like not really seen as like particularly. Yes, the Air 720. I love that super. Um, I don't care where they put hands, but like I'm okay with Ed having something like kind of like, you know. I'm okay with him getting it out on command. That's the whole point of Street Fighter V. There were a lot of moves that weren't really like moves that you were supposed to be able to do on command, like fucking Chun-Li's lightning legs. We're trying to make the game like, you know, that you can just play it. If you're the common man, you don't need to be fucking desk to do Chun-Li combos anymore. These combos are tight as fuck. It doesn't do that much damage. Oh, he dropped it. That builds almost the meter it uses. So you can do like 5 of them in a row. Imagine if there was like a project demo of Street Fighter V. Imagine if there was a game that made Street Fighter V look like Brawl Minus. Omega SF4. There was something I noticed recently. It was there are a lot of like precursors to Street Fighter V in Street Fighter 4 Omega, and there was one I saw recently that I didn't realize was a precursor at first. I know there are hacks of Street Fighter 5 already, but I want like a big universal one that like pros play at tournaments. I'll make it, damn it. Someone teach me how to mod a game. I already know all the balance changes I'd make. I will start by adding parries. I wonder if modding a Street Fighter is really my first step to making my own fighting game. I think like literally one of the things I would do would, like starting off would just make every poke go farther. I would take some inoffensive button for every character and make it huge. Some button that people didn't really hit that much but wasn't super rewarding. Like when you see Urians stand hard punch, you don't really that button doesn't really need any extra range to be good. But when you see Urians like, I don't know if Urian has a Urian's down towards hard kick. That button's not very good at all. But imagine if it went like twice as far. Be a pretty good button. Imagine if Urian's towards hard kick or down towards hard kick was just Fung's down towards hard punch. Bet people would push it then. Yeah, you stay medium kick. Just take one button per character. Make it go really far. If parries were going to be added to Street Fighter 5, the way they'd have to do it would be you'd have to predict the parry direction and probably a parry button too. Or else it would be ridiculous. It's very hard to add parries to the Street Fighter 5 without massively changing the engine. But if it was like, oh, I parry... If I correctly predict that this is going to be a standing punch, a crouching punch, a standing kick, or a crouching kick, that might be okay. Not that I'm seriously considering adding parries to the game or anything. I hear the door being knocked. I gotta go. I was gonna go a little while ago. I'm gonna go see what all this is about. I'll be back in a couple hours.